Yeah, so just start on your back, bring your feet either flat to the floor or feet together, knees apart, or if you want legs extended, that is absolutely fine. You can set your hands onto your belly. Allow your eyes to gently close if that's comfortable for you. If you prefer eyes staying open, that's fine too. Just notice your breath without changing or doing anything. Just noticing the breath. Sometimes it creates just that connection. The breath will automatically deepen, or you'll start to feel a little bit more relaxed just by noticing the breath. This training right now, it's called Yoga for Athletes. And the part that I'm at right now is talking about the nervous system and about, when we are living our life. So this is from the perspective of an athlete, but it's for anybody when we're living our life and we're out in the world and we're, doing all the things. Our body's often shifting between our sympathetic nervous system, which is the doing and the taking care of, and the adrenaline and cortisol and all of that, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest nervous system. And we shift between the two. And the aspect of recovery, right, sleep and digestion and recovery, the aspect of recovery is taken care of by our parasympathetic nervous system. But often we are spend more time in the sympathetic nervous system, and we actually crave it. It becomes like we seek it out, those more high adrenaline feelings, because it has a certain feeling in the body, right? Being very alert, very awake, we seek it out, almost like an addiction, and don't know how to switch. So just noticing your breath, just pausing and notice the breath can create a switch to flip. And you can land in our parasympathetic nervous system. And it's a good tool to know how to access what it feels like when you're feeling relaxed. So just noticing, paying attention, bringing your awareness here. Let's take several or a few more breaths right here, just feeling, noticing your body, your mind. Notice the mind's need to want to kind of, get busy again. Just gently bring and tune back in and train back on the breath. Hi, Nancy. We're just starting laying down, just breathing. And then when you feel ready, you'll just take a nice full deep breath in all the way to the top. Maybe exhale out the mouth, just long, slow, complete, empty. And then start to stretch your legs out and stretch your arms overhead. Maybe wiggle a little side to side. Good, and then draw the right knee up into your chest and give it a squeeze. You can interlace your hands just below the knee or in the front of the shin, and maybe move the right leg side to side a couple times. Bring it to center and interlace your hands behind the leg now and just straighten and bend the leg a few times. You can point the foot or point as you straighten and flex as you bend, or whatever feels good. Just straighten and bend several times. Good, and then bend the knee again. Hands in front of the shin, bring it a little closer, and then hold the knee in just the right hand and open it out to the right. And then flex the foot, pull the toes up towards the shin, and flex the left foot on the floor and press flex out through that left heel and just breathe into the hips, the inner thighs, the inner groin. And then bring that right knee back to center, relax the feet, rock a little side to side. And then stretch the right leg out alongside the left, stretch your arms overhead, wiggle side to side, lengthening. And then you'll switch, bring that left leg in, gentle rock or movement side to side, massaging the front of the hip flexors, stretching the back of the hip, the glutes. And then bring it to center, hands interlaced behind the thigh and straighten and bend the left leg a couple times. You can flex as you bend and straighten as you point, which kind of flosses or moves the sciatic nerve end to end, front to back, moving it through its canal. The next time you bend the left knee, interlace the hands in front of the shin again, draw it in, and then hold the knee in the left hand and open it left. And then flex both feet, pull the toes up. So bring energy into the edges of you. Stephanie, I love seeing your breath. Stay present to your breath. Stay present to your thoughts. Notice the conversation you're having underneath it all. And then come back to center, relax the feet, hug it in, little side to side, and then extend both legs out long, both arms overhead, get just really long. And then you'll just take the feet here. So relax the shoulders a little, take the feet to the left. So left foot to the left. And then the right foot can cross on top of the left. And then you'll circle the right wrist with the left hand and begin to stretch the body over to the left. You might even wiggle the shoulders to the left an inch or two. And if it's too much on the shoulders, the arms can be in any other position also. And take a couple slow, deep breaths all along that right side of the body. Slowly release, wiggle back to center, and then take the right leg to the right, and the left leg will cross or reach to the right foot. You might circle the left wrist with the right hand and give that little side bend. You can wiggle the shoulders, walk them to the right to get a bigger stretch along the left. This is subtle, but it's just that like stretching the fabric on the left side of the body. Then wiggle back to center, extend the arms overhead, stretch the legs out long, and then bend the elbows, bring the arms down by your sides, bend the knees, set the feet flat to the floor, and then we'll do a few little pelvic tilts. So you'll just scoop the tailbone towards the ceiling and press the lower back down to the floor. And you're using some abdominal strength to do that. And then you'll go the opposite, point the tailbone down and arch the lower back. And you'll just move back and forth. So try to press the low back down, scoop the tailbone up, not the whole hips though, and then point the tail down and arch the lower back. And you'll do a few more rocking back and forth, using some abdominal muscles and also low back muscles. So it's kind of like a cow and cat on our back. Good, do that one more time. Press the low back down, curl the tailbone up. And then tailbone down, arch the low back. And then press the low back down, curl the tailbone up, and lift up into bridge. But keep imagining you're pressing the rib cage down towards the mat as the hips and pelvis lift. And breathe. So the breath here, if you can, notice the belly. I want the belly to stay sort of flat or firm, and the breath goes sideways. So as you breathe, instead of the inhale lifting the belly and ribs to the sky, it takes the ribs sideways. Try to breathe sideways and breathe into the back of the lungs, like breathe into the space at the back of the body. Good. And then lower down. You can go slowly, doing that pelvic tilt all the way down. And then take the arms overhead up to the ceiling and overhead to the floor, and just let them rest if you can. Take some really full expansive breaths. Then float the arms back up towards the ceiling. Bring them back down by your sides. Walk the feet a little closer towards you, towards the sitting bones. Toes straight ahead. Tuck the tailbone up. Press the low back down. Squeeze the glutes. Lift up into bridge. You'll draw the ribs, front ribs down towards the floor, and breathe. We'll take 5 breaths here, breathing sideways and backwards. So with out of the corner or periphery of your eye, try to keep that belly and front ribs firm. One more breath. You got this, strong legs. Now this time, lift to the balls of the feet, peel the heels up, and then slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time, stretching out all those muscles on the back. And when you get all the way to the ground, walk the feet wider apart, and then let the knees move right to left, like windshield wipers. Good. Bring it back to center, and then you'll carefully gather your knees up into your chest and wrap your forearms around your shins. Lengthen the neck, tuck the chin slightly. And breathe, just stay right here. Keep the knees in nice and tight. Open the arms out wide and allow the knees to fall to the left. So an easy twist, knees to the left. And they don't have to stay stacked. You can slide the right leg back for a little stagger, or you can do it the opposite. Slide the left leg back and right leg over. You can also hold on to that right thigh. See if you can keep the backs of both shoulders on the ground. Next inhale, let the knees come back up towards the chest. Wrap your arms around your shins, pause, squeezing in, but gently. Lengthen the back of the neck, so chin slightly down and tailbone slightly down. Good, open the arms out wide. and then let the knees fall to the right. Taking any shape that feels good in your body. Then slowly come back up to center. One more time, gather your knees, wrap your forearms around the shins, squeeze in, not too hard, just enough. That Goldilocks scenario. Just right. Then from here, you'll extend the legs to the sky, crossing the ankles, holding behind the thighs, and rock yourself back and bend the knees, come all the way up to sitting. Yep. Good, you got it, Linda. And then come to a cross-legged seat. And then you'll take your left hand, I'm not mirroring you, so you guys go that way. Left hand left, and right arm up and over. I know sometimes I do. Good. There you go. And then come back up and we'll go to the other side, just nice and easy. And come back up to center. Bring your hands to the shins. Lift the chest and then tuck the chin and gently round back. We'll do that again. Rock forward, lift like cow and cat. Tuck the chin, gently round or slouch back. That might be familiar. And then come forward, lift. One more time, gently round or slouch back. And then come forward and reach up high and see if you can lengthen and fold. And if it bothers your knees or your ankles, make an adjustment. You can move. Good, and then you'll use your hands to walk yourself back up and switch which shin is on top. So switch the cross of the legs, and then we'll do the side to side again. So I don't care which arm, just go to one side, stretch, and up to center and to the other side. I'm gonna keep those sitting bones glued down, shoulders moving away from the ears. Come back up to center, hands to the shins, lift the chest and gaze, and then tuck the chin, round it back, rolling to the back of the sacrum or the back of the tail, and then lift up, rolling forward to the front of the sitting bones and to the back. One more time, come forward like those cow and cats, shoulder back, chest up, and then round back, stretching it out, and then come forward and lift and lengthen, and then lengthen as you fold forward. So it might be different with the knees and ankles on this side. You need to change something, change something. And then you'll use your hands to walk yourself up, and you'll take the feet around and come to hands and knees. So come on to the tabletop. You can set a blanket under the knees if you like. And then cow and cat. Maybe take a moment to kind of root down through the hands and then start to move. Just discover what feels good for your neck, your back, your wrists, like listening to your body. You can close your eyes here. Really let this movement be intuitive. then coming to neutral, you'll bring the hands forward about 1 hand length, tuck the toes under, and lift up to downward dog, stretching the chest back as the hips rise. This could also be child's pose if you don't quite feel ready for downward dog, that's okay. You can wag your dog tail or bend your knees one at a time. Or if those are just ways to escape, then just be still, eyes open, and feel and listen and pay attention. Sometimes I just move on autopilot because I like the distraction of moving. Being still, I get impatient often. Just notice that without judgment, just notice, learn. Go ahead, walk your feet up towards the middle of your mat, come into ragdoll. Lean the weight back into the heels, maybe hold the elbows. Maybe shake your head if the neck's feeling kind of tight. Release the hands softly to the floor. You can keep the feet as they are or bring them closer. It's kind of personal preference. And then roll up to stand or rise up with a flat back if that's better in your body. Take the arms up so the blood comes up to the head. Root down, reach up high, and then bring your hands down to your heart. Good. And then arms by your side. You're going to bring your feet to hip width if they aren't already. Arms in front. And then look down and lift your toes. And then set the toes down, look forward, and lift your heels. If you need to hold a bar, you can. And then lower the heels, lift the toes. Set the toes down. Good, lift your heels. Lower the heels, lift the toes. One more time. Toes down, lift the heels. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the heels, lower the arms. Take a couple. That's a preview of what's to come. We're going to do a little bit of that. Okay, so now you're going to come up to the front of your mat. We're going to do a special flow today, working on balance. You're going to love it. I know, but this is to work on balance, to work towards balance. Okay, so feet hip width distance apart. You're going to bend the knees, start to hinge and sit back into the heels. Bring the arms out in front of you. And then right here, shift your weight to the toes. Lift the heels. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Keep the heels up. Bring your hands to the ground. See if you can straighten the legs. Forward fold, heels lifted. See what happens. Good. Now step your left foot back. See if you can stay on the right toes. Good job. Stay on the toes, left foot back. Breathe for 3. You got it. 2. And then 1, step forward. Left foot comes back up. If you need blocks, you might use blocks. Step forward, stay on the toes. Straight legs-ish. Step the right foot back. Stay on the toes. Bend the left knee, stay on the toes. Lunge on the toes and breathe. If it's too much at any time, you can set the heel down. 3, breathing. 2. Good, now stay on the left toes, step back forward, right foot comes up to meet the left. Straight legs, halfway lift on the toes. Forward fold on the toes. Bend the knees, stay on your toes. Reach the arms forward, chair pose. Oh, good, you got this. Good, good, good. Stand up, arms up, lower the heels. Lower the arms. Do little shoulder circles. How was that? Sure. So we're going to do it again. Let's try that one more time. All right, so feet can be together or hip width, arms in front. Bend the knees, come into your chair. So I was doing these today. My knee's been bugging me. I don't know if it's arthritis. I don't know what it is, but these are helping. Okay, so lift your heels. So it strengthens all the little muscles. Heels up, balance and breathe. Good work. Sit a little deeper. Stay on the toes, hands to the floor or blocks. Straighten the legs, stay on the toes. Lift and lengthen. Step your right foot back. Stay on the toes of both feet. See if you can float the fingers up. Coming up to your crescent lunge. Maybe arms to the sky on the left toes. Maybe. Good, Linda, you got it. Nice, Stephanie. Good, Kara. Nice. Bring the hands back down. Remember, heel can drop if you need, but try to stay on the toes. Now step back to high plank. Left foot to right. Now bring the knees down to the floor. All you're going to do is micro bend the elbows, a tiny bend. Hold that. Stay there. Tiny bend. Strong arms. Yes. Now point the toes, flip the feet over, straight arms, straight legs, upward dog, or maybe cobra. It's okay if the thighs are down. And then tuck the toes, downward dog, press back. Stretch out the heels.
Are we on our toes?
Well, yeah, you could be on the toes, or you can press the heels down, stretching out the calves. Good, and then now lift the heels, tiptoe up your mat, maybe to the middle of the mat is fine, wherever you land. Bend the knees, stay on the toes. Chair pose, arms forward. Good, good, good. And stand up, heels down, reach up high. Good, hands to the heart, arms down. We have one more leg. Take a couple shoulder rolls. Okay, last one, this is it. Bend the knees, hinge at the hips, chair pose, come up to the toes. Arms forward for balance, or arms can come up if you prefer. Try to get even in the ball of the big toe to the pinky toe. Sit a little deeper for 2. On 1, hands come down, hips rise up, stay high up on your toes. And then you'll step the right foot back. Stay on the ball of that left foot. Good, float the fingers so you zip up from the ground and stretch the arms up, crescent lunge, 5, 4, good, it's okay to put the hands to be on the ground, 2, 3, 2, and 1, hands down, high plank or kneeling. You can set the knees down, micro bend the elbows, a tiny bend, so strong through the upper body. And then upward dog or cobra, point the toes, open the chest, downward facing dog. You can tuck the toes, pull the hips back, and breathe, familiar, right? Territory, breathing. Lift your heels, tiptoe your feet up your mat. See how far you can go. Stay on the toes, bend the knees, chair pose for 5, 4, 3, strong legs, 2, and 1. Stand up, lower the heels, float the arms down. Good. Shoulder roll.
That's good.
Yeah. Welcome back. Bring your feet to hip width distance apart and add that little twist side to side. Let the arms just dangle. So all that work in the body. That's that sympathetic nervous system. And then to be able to drop, let it go. That's parasympathetic. That's this. Notice the difference. All right. Bring the body back to that center line. Stretch both arms up. Bend the right elbow and hold it in the right hand. So walk your hand towards the center of the back. So it looks like this. And then you press the head back. Stand up nice and tall. And if it feels good, you can move or stretch a little side to side or just hold. Good, and then you'll release that and take the right arm out to the right, so still in the right arm, and then bring it across the body. And you're gonna hold just above the elbow or the shoulder and hold on to it. Let's stretch to the outer arm. That feel okay? You can do whatever you want with your head, look anywhere, in any direction. Good, and then take that right arm again out to the right. And then this time, I'm going to turn sideways a bit. The arm goes behind the back. You reach up as high as you can. And it's okay if it's lower. And then you press the elbow forward and the shoulder back. Yeah, so just, you can use your hand if you want, pressing the shoulder back, elbow forward, or just let it rest. And if it doesn't want to go up high, it's okay to keep it low. The internal rotation can be tricky or interesting. It's okay to move the head in different directions too. Good, and then slowly release the arm, just let it dangle. Nice job. And then you'll take both arms up. This time you bend the left elbow. Hold the elbow with the right hand. Walk your hand down. Stand up tall. A little micro bend in the knees so you're not locking out the joints. Good move. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll take my thumb of this left hand and press it into these tight muscles and give a little help. Amazing, right? You feel that? Yeah. Yeah. That's the sympathetic nervous system that does this. You know, it's like ready. So, yeah, always. Okay, let that go. Take the left arm out. And then across the body, you'll hold, it can be above the elbow or below the elbow. You choose what feels best for you. And then what you're trying to do is bring that shoulder back and slightly down. Good, and it's fine to wrap that arm if that feels better or reach it. You choose, but you're, as the left arm goes to the right, the left shoulder goes to the left. There you go. Feel that?
It needs it.
Yeah. Too. There's this line that runs down this whole outside of the arm that you might notice. Okay, good. Let that go. Now this is the harder one. So left arm out, thumb down, behind the back. It can just, hand can rest at the sacrum, or you can try to reach it up higher. And then elbow forward, shoulder melts back. And you can also use your right hand to tack down that. So it's like a tacking. So you'll hold the muscle down and then you can move the head away from it. Interesting. So sometimes that tendency for the body to rise, just soften, just touch. Yeah. Yeah. And it's tricky too, because I think there's some languaging that's been for a long time of pull the shoulders down and back, which creates other tightening. So it's like we want the shoulders to relax down without muscling. So it's they soften, but there's also an opening and a freedom rather than a locking. So sometimes we're either tight up here or tight down here, and it's kind of allowing more breath. Okay, let that arm come down, let it rotate in and out a few times. All right, now you're gonna come together, feet together, take the arms out, and then right arm will go under the left into eagle. Good. And then bend the knees, so you're gonna sit back into the heels, and both feet are gonna stay on the floor, lift the heels. Try to squeeze the knees and ankles together. Just stay and breathe. Or if the heels are down, that's fine too. Elbows up. Good, shoulders soft. Sit a little deeper. Good, and then heels down as you stand up and release the arms. Good, little roll. Arms out, inhale. Left arm comes under the right. giving yourself either a hug or fingers into palm, elbows up, weight back into heels. Yeah, if you want hip width with the feet, that's fine. It might feel more stable. Feet together is a little more challenge with the balance. And then you can stay heels down or peel the heels up, balancing, breathing, feeling the little fluctuations in the body. So today I'm teaching you how to activate the sympathetic nervous system. That's this, what that feels like. How you have to get like on and focused and find breath and just that intent, there's like an intensity to it. And then release, stand up, heels down, relax the arms and breathe. And then you down regulate, notice. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time, but full eagle this time. So arms out, right arm under the left, and then feet can stay heels down as you bend the knees, or you can do heels up, or right leg will come over the left. And it might be big toe touches down. Good, Linda. Or maybe the foot is in space. Amazing. Eagles, everyone. Breathing for 3 and 2 and 1. Release. Extended mountain or arms out, and then left arm under the right, and then either chair with the lower body or left leg over the right. Using your gaze, nice, your focus, your drishti, your eyes, setting the eyes to one point as an access to the body, noticing your body. Through one point, you kind of see it all, take it all in, and then release, mountain pose. Anything you want to do here. Good, and maybe shake the legs out a little. Good. All right, so this, we're gonna do it a little bit more balanced. If you want to hold the bar, you're welcome to. So we're going to do some hip circles with the right leg. So you'll bring your left hand to your left hip. I'm not mirroring you again, or you can hold the bar with the left hand. And then, or actually, let's do both hands on the hips or hold the bar. And then the right leg's just going to come up and around, just making a circle in the kind of in the front zone, circling, circling. Good job. Perfect. And then set it down and we'll switch, just shifting your weight to the right and then circle with the left. I love when the hiccups come. No, it's great. Very good. And then set the left leg down. Now you're just going to bring it in front. So the right leg is going to come up in front and then go behind, and you'll hinge forward. And come back to the front, knee comes up, standing straight and tall, and then you hinge forward and send the leg behind. Good, one more time, knee comes up in front. If you need to touch down between, you can, and then bring it behind and hold there for 3, 2, and 1. Come back to stand, feet to the floor, shift your weight into the right foot, go right to the other side. Lift the left, so knee comes up using hip flexor and core, and then it comes behind you, hinge forward, and now you're engaging glute, hamstring, and back. Come back up to the front, stand tall, shaking. I know we're like doing different stuff today. Take it back, that's the nervous system. Good. Come back to the front and lift. Last one. You'll take it behind you and hold. So hinging forward. Good. Engaging the muscles at the back of the body. Good, Nancy. Lift the shoulders towards the ceiling a tiny bit. And then come back to stand, 2 feet on the floor. Take a big breath in, just like a clearing breath. Reach up. And bring your hands down to the heart. Good. Let's do one more balance just because we're doing so good today. So tree, I always like to add tree. So the left foot will be the base And this is kind of the combination of what we just did. So the right knee comes up and out, and then the foot comes to the inner leg somewhere. You can help it or just set it. Hands to the heart. Remembering that feeling of being on the ball of the foot with that left foot, and try to create that connection to the toes, the mounds of the toes. Then maybe reaching the arms up. Soften the shoulders, relax the jaw, soften the edges of the eyes. Amazing. Then float the arms down, set the right foot down next to the left. Grounded, mountain pose. Shift your weight over to the right foot. So the left leg comes up and out, and then bring the foot to the inner leg somewhere. And if it lands on the knee, it's okay. I like that little foothold sometimes. Just don't press hard. And then hands to the heart. Find your connection to the foot, the floor. Then the arms can rise if you like. Your breath, your gaze of drishti gives you access to your body. So interesting that when you rest the eyes at one point, it's like there you are. And the whole moment gets very clear, like this focus. Good. Float the arms down, set the left foot next to the right, come back to the front of your mat. If you wandered, our balance section is over. Linda, you did amazing today. I saw you just nail a tree. You reach up, inhale, big breath in. Exhale, just diving forward, bend the knees as much as you need, drop your head. Inhale, halfway lift. All right, step back to high plank. And we're gonna hold this, our last little nervous system activation here in plank. If you wanna drop the knees to the ground, you can. And then kind of shift forward to the toes, way into the toes. And pull with the fingertips, press into the palms, lift between the shoulder blades. Notice if the chin is dropping to the mat. Lift the back of the head towards the ceiling. Come forward more to the tiptoes, almost like the feet are so light. Hold for 5, 4, you got it. A little shaking is good. 2, and then 1, knees down, and press all the way back into child's pose. And arms can be in front or by your sides. Appreciate that moment of rest, of letting go. I love that, Stephanie. Yeah, you can move your head side to side, massaging that third eye. It's called the Shiva Netra, or the eye of intuition. That's right there between the eyebrows, a little bit above, in that center of the forehead. You know, the eyes are closed. You kind of gaze through the center of your forehead. Good. Come back up to tabletop, to hands and knees. And then you're just going to step the right foot forward or help it there. So bring that right foot forward. And then tuck the back toes under, lift up and slide that back foot back just a bit, just to get a longer stance. Good, Julia. And then set the knee down, point the back toes, and then you're going to move front to back here. Stretching out the hips and hamstrings. After all that good leg work today, the balance. If it feels good to hang out, either forward in that hip flexor stretch or back in the hamstring stretch, you're welcome to hang out. And then come forward if you aren't already into that hip flexor low lunge stretch. Plant the left hand and then just open the right arm up towards the sky. You can stretch the fingers wide, or you can make a fist and rotate the wrist. Or you can cactus that right arm, opening the chest. Good, and then bring the hand down and pull the hips back and rotate the left shin to the right. So it's gonna pivot and then straighten the right leg and turn the toes parallel. So the right foot's parallel with the front of the mat. Slide the right arm down the right leg, take the left arm up to the sky. Just that little side stretch, a big side stretch here. And then rise up, turn the right toes back to the front, bend the right knee. Just sink into it for a moment. It's in your eye opening. And then come back up and you'll come back to tabletop. So you'll bring your hands down, pivot the left shin, bring the right leg back. You can sit back in child's pose, or you can move through cow and cat. Any movement that feels good. It's just a moment's break right here, just a pause. Then you'll come back to tabletop and slide the left leg forward. Tuck the right toes under, lengthen so you get this long stance, then gently set the knee down, point the toes, then moving back to front. And the foot can stay down or lift up. And if you want to just hold the hamstring stretch, if that's what you need today, stay there. Or if you want to hold the hip flexor stretch forward, stay there. Or if you want to continue to move, do that. If you need to pad the back knee, do that. Be gentle with yourself. And coming forward, planting the right hand at a gentle twist to the left. Your hand can be on a block if you have a block. Fancy, good, Carol. You can make a fist and roll that left wrist in some slow circles. Bring the hand back down, and then you're going to pivot the right shin behind you, come up for gate pose. So turn the left toes to the right so the foot's parallel, toes to the mirror. Perfect. And then left hand goes down the left leg, right arm to the sky. So you're opening that right side. It's kind of like what we did at the floor at the very beginning. And it's really a reach up. Try to lift up out of the pelvis. And then float it up. Turn the left toes back forward. This mimics a warrior two. You bend the left knee slightly. You can even lean the forearm onto the thigh. Opening the inner thigh, gently nudge it left. It's just a moment. This is just our hips today. Feel that? Good. Yeah, interesting. Okay, come on up, and then you'll pivot back to the front. And either child's pose or downward dog or cow and cat or any movement that feels good in your body, kind of explore. Then you're going to slide the knees forward, come to a seat in the middle of your mat. Spin the legs around to the front. We're going to take a seated forward fold here. So you can walk the sitting bones back or move the flesh away from the sit bones. Feet can be flexed, pointed, relaxed, whatever feels good. And then lengthen, lengthen, and hinge forward. And then when you can't hinge any farther, you can round forward. Forward folds are known for their parasympathetic quality, for their nervous system reset quality. It's a stretch at the low back where the adrenaline glands are, adrenals are, right above the kidneys. So it's rather than squeezing the adrenals, which releases adrenaline, it opens and stretches the adrenal area, that low back area, which soothes and relaxes an overburdened or overtaxed nervous system, which could be from physical endeavors, it could be from mental stress or emotional stress. When we are in more of a sympathetic state, our tissues tend to be tighter because they're bound and at the ready, right, to respond. And it's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. But when it's too much or there's no break, then it becomes detrimental because the tissues can't ever fully relax. We're really meant to have both states, able to access both states. Come up slowly and gently, and then you'll come down onto your back, and I'm going to give you some freedom. I like to give you some freedom to move in a way that feels good to you for the end of your practice, whether it's legs up a wall or hips on a block or happy baby pose or a twist. Those are all nice ways to kind of complete your practice. Or if you want more forward folds, you can do a Baddha Konasana forward fold. Or just free movement, just moving the hips through range of motion, like internal, external, or wrists or arms or elbows or neck or head or spine, like just moving freely, thinking about unlocking and lubricating, hydrating the tissues and muscles of your body. Twisted one way, twist the other. If you want to add a quick twist, you can do that. If you want to start preparing for Shavasana, if you have any props, you want to put something over your eyes or under your knees. Start to make your way to your Shavasana, your place of rest. Doesn't need to look like anyone else's. The reading today from the book Journey to the Heart is actually from yesterday, but I'd like to read it. It's called Learn to Be Calm. So this book is written by a woman named Melody Beattie. And it has little hidden gems. I felt strained and tense when I began the drive along the Redwood Highway in Northern California. I'd wanted to take another road, one quicker, but less scenic to get to my destination. At the last moment, I decided to drive through the trees. Thousands of redwoods grew hundreds of feet into the air. Some stood tall and proud. Some seemed to have their necks craned so they could peer down onto the highway. Some grew with roots connected like families. Some stood alone, mile after mile after mile, for as far as I could see in any direction. Thousands of trees surrounded me. Their power and message became inescapable. It was one of calmness, patience, and growth. For hundreds of years, they have been here, patiently seeing things through. Little ruffled them. They just kept on growing for all those years, steadily, patiently, peacefully, calmly. They have been through enough, seen enough to know not to worry. Things work out. Change happens. Life continues to evolve. I didn't see one tree hurrying or worrying. They have been here long enough to learn life's lessons well. Learn a lesson from the redwoods. Let them teach the power of patience and calm. Life goes on, things happen, people change, times move along. There are stories to live and stories to tell, but we can be calm and know that always all is well. Say that last line again. There are stories to live and stories to tell, but we can be calm and know that always all is well. That's a message that you can send to yourself when you feel like it's not. When you have those moments like yesterday with the smoke, and if things trigger and your body feels unsafe, first make sure that you are safe. And then if it's an old trigger, if it's from an old trauma, the message you send yourself right now is all is well. Start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Bend your knees and carefully roll to a comfortable side. With your eyes closed, press yourself up to seated. And bring your hands into your lap. Palms can face down or up, and close your eyes. Just notice from your skin in. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice how your body feels. Notice any emotions that might be here. You don't have to do anything about it. Just notice and feel. That space for all that exists right here, right now, to move through you. And all is well. I love that little reminder that she says always all is well, because you can say all is well until, or but. Just come back, always, all is well. Bring the palms of your hands together, touch your thumbs to your heart space. Lift your thumbs to your forehead center. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Hope you feel your legs in a different way today. Feet, your calves, your
That was
balance.
good though, the toe.
So
It
good.
works all these different
Little
muscles.
muscles.
Yeah, for balance.
Yep.
Because I think when you're hiking with rocks on the road, when you're hiking and all that,
You need to know how to
navigate it. Yeah, that's what I notice when I'm hiking like up at Anadelphis.
Uh-huh.
It's so pebbly and
Yeah.
if you're not
uneven.
looking, you fall.
I'm so glad we worked today.
We did. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you. I'll be here tomorrow and then I'm gone after that. So,
It's
Have a good,
and then
good
I'm
week.
back the whole summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, see you later.